This is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Scott Spears Now. As you can see, my guest today is somebody who has not been with us in quite some time, but we are always glad when he comes around because, as I've said many, many times, this man is what you would call in the business of broadcasting a very unique talent. His moniker is the Golden Voice, but he can do anything. He can do voices. He can do current events. He can do topics. He can do anything. So he's known as the Golden Voice, but what he really is a personality right up there, in my opinion, with the likes of Jack Benny and Walter Cronkite and people of that ilk. He is the Golden Voice, Ted Williams. Ted, good to see you.
Good seeing you too, Scotty. I love when he gives me those intros. Mammy!
Well, you deserve every single accolade, and
I love you.
It's wonderful to see you, but I have to ask you, the opening question is kind of two-sided here, because really why we're doing this interview is an update on where you've been, because people always ask me when I see them, they say, what's Ted up to? And we are just going to delve into some topics here, because it's been an interesting time since we talked last.
It's been a ride, Scotty. I have to tell you, it's been a ride. I currently, believe it or not, I was living with my daughter's boyfriend. I was rooming and paying rent because my girlfriend, my dearly departed girlfriend, Kathy, passed away, as you all know. And my daughter was her acting home health care nurse. So she also cared for her husband, who also has diabetes and sleep apnea and a bunch of other things. But to make a long story short, he passed away about a month ago. So I wasn't on the lease, but I paid rent and earned my keep, as most people do. He was family, and my daughter, of course. And so the rental people decided to just vacate, not evict, but vacate the apartment for future tenants. And I wasn't on the lease to be able to keep it. Of course, a lot of money has been taken from me and all, and I just got approved for Social Security.
Oh, good.
But to make a long story short, I'm homeless. And to make a long story short again, Scotty, I am in a shelter that caters to United States veterans.
That's a big story, Ted, because obviously prior to 2011, you were homeless, and that's your story, the man with the golden voice who went from homelessness to the Today Show, and now here we are in 2024, and you are homeless again.
Homeless again, yes. And so the Veterans Administration, the Service Commission, is going to help me with rent and deposits and all. You know, I've never been evicted and I don't have any kind of drug offenses or any kind of domestic violences or anything on my record. I'm hoping to get a place soon, but I think it's a 6-week. Every time I speak of it, you know, I should be glad I'm not paying any bills right at this moment to accumulate my money so that I will be able to buy furniture and so forth. So anybody that's getting rid of any used, nice furniture, gently used furniture, I'm in the market to try to buy something. But yeah, I'm homeless again. And thanks to many people, I'm not going to blame nobody no more, Brett Adams and a bunch of other people that caused this whole situation to take place. And so Kathy's not here because that would have just broke her heart if she would know that I was in this current situation. But being the survivor that I am, you know, and I've got great prayers and great friendships with Sean and, of course, Scott Spears, my dear friend Scott, who has always kept me in his prayers and all. As long as I got that, I'm good to go. You know, I have moments, I speak about it all the time, mental health. And I have moments of depression about this whole situation, moments of hatred, moments where I doubt God and my spirituality just is in and out. But the voice is still here. We'll be back with more of Scott. No, I'm just teasing. The voice seems to not have left me, so God's still with me. He hasn't abandoned me in this situation. I want all of my friends to keep me in your prayers. I'm still connected to my main man, Mr. David Chappelle, and currently I'm in a short film. I forget the name of it, but I have a speaking part, and it's being shot by Netflix and so forth. The director and the producer and all are doing that, so hopefully that'll take place, and I could really get some money to maybe bypass the VA, because I'm really not asking the VA for. I'm a veteran, and Hey, I'm a veteran, but they're going to help me as much as they can. The Service Commission of Columbus, Ohio.
Ted, a lot of people who are hearing this right now are saying to themselves, how could this happen to Ted? You know, he was offered a job with basketball teams. He was the voice of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. He had a book with a big publishing company, has been on television shows. You still get asked for autographs everywhere you go.
Yes.
How could this happen 13 years after homelessness?
Poor management, bad choices with people who were responsible for my finances and my well-being, that I trusted. Lawyers, Brett Adams, took me for $375,000. There's no way in hell I amassed a bill with that man and only being associated with him for 2 years. Then I had management before then, and currently my manager now. I can't swear on it, but I'm sure he's making money off of my notoriety, so to speak. I'm not a celebrity. I like to think of myself as just a very recognizable. I'm still humble about this whole situation. A lot of people call me the man with the golden voice. I call myself the man with the God-given golden voice. So the acknowledgement is still there, Scotty. I haven't given in, but I've had people just literally taking from me. It's no addictions that surfaced where I've squandered money. I've got some other great opportunities, and I'm here today with my friends Scott and Sean and the cameraman and all to kind of let everybody know, to keep me in your prayers and what I'm going through emotionally, and it just makes me mad sometimes.
Well, and you talked about your faith there, Ted, because something very interesting. We look back to that sign 11 years ago.
Yeah.
You mentioned your faith on that sign. Mm-hmm. You certainly mentioned your faith when you were taken from homelessness to all the great things that did happen. Mm-hmm. And now you're back to homelessness. You say you have questioned your faith. How has that process evolved?
Well, I kind of, prior to the 2011 viral video, I kind of deemed a lot of my misfortune as being karma. I've deprived, back in my drug addiction days and homeless days with my significant other, I like to refer to as my wife, but she was my girlfriend. We never solidified that. There's no common law situation. I love that woman. But the end of the story is this. When we were in the thick of that, I deprived a lot of businesses and people of merchandise and money and all. So I kind of deemed it as being somewhat karma, because you just can't keep doing wrong and not expect some kind of karma or retribution, or somebody get back, whether it's from God or whether it's from people. I just thank God that He's seen fit for me to fulfill my purpose and my journey. I'm 60 plus years. And, I feel I'm in great health as far as I know. I have a chronic sinus condition. And I just left cutting my daughter's grass and all to come here. And the opportunities hopefully will come back. I'm with Dave Chappelle, as I mentioned. He has a podcast called Midnight Miracles. It's on Luminary. It's an Apple podcast. And I do his voiceover work. So hopefully I can get out of this situation fast. If any realtors are watching right now, I do have the backing of the United States military and I have Section 8. I qualify for so many great programs, but I like to pay my way, and I do have an income, and I do have side gigs as well.
So you are in a facility now. What is that facility like?
Yes.
A veterans facility.
Yeah. It's it's the Volunteers of America, and they house veterans of all branches of military, and it's like a barracks to me. That's how I deem it. It's not jail. It's not one of those real messed up shelters. And the kind people from various businesses donate their services and their food and their wares. There's nothing that we really need, on an emergency basis. It's all right there. Bedding, I have a curfew. As a matter of fact, I have to leave 11 o'clock. You wake up in the morning, you get a breakfast, cereal, milk. Sometimes they have bagels. I eat a toasted bagel, buttered toasted bagel with not cream cheese, jelly. A big old Smucker's jelly where it just shoots out the side of the bagel and everywhere. And let's see. And things like that, lunch and so forth. And then they have a great support staff that find out what's going on. And then, of course, the doctor is available. I go to the VA on James Road, the VA hospital and clinic in Columbus and Chillicothe. And, they're going to help me with my mental health issues. And they provide transportation to and from sometimes, or they give you a transportation ticket, which allows me to, ride the Coda bus to and from. And I don't know, it just bugs me. It feels like my life just digressed and went backwards, for a minute. Rewind.
When you are at the shelter or on the Coda bus, do people come up and say, "Why are you here? How
Oh
did
my
this?"
God, I can't tell you how many people come up to me. What happened? I thought you had that million. People no longer refer to me as the man with the golden voice. They refer to me as the man with the $1 million voice. So there's a lot of people out there that have come to, for whatever reasons, come to their thoughts of me being a millionaire, and they just, oh my God, are you still doing that shit? Excuse me, you still doing that? When are you gonna leave it alone? And then I got some of my roommates and all. Can I get a picture with you, man? I want to show my, are you that guy? So I go through that, but when I walk down through the university area or wherever I'm highly recognized, are you, But yeah, people wonder. You can see it in their face. Some people think like, damn, he has all, The Cleveland Cavaliers was an opportunity that my manager downplayed. I ended up on Dr. Phil, which was a bypass. Kraft Mac and Cheese gave me $60,000. My book advance was $375,000. And like I said, that damn lawyer. And see, my choices are so bad. I go on people's referrals. You have to realize that I was a homeless crackhead. Criminal, a person who had no regards for anything other than to get my drug of choice and to, by any means necessary. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting all this money and all of this, and so I'm trusting people to guide me or to steer my, career and they just took advantage of this ex-crackhead. And the humble person that I am would have loved to shot him dead. I'm be honest with you. I have some hatred in my heart for people who have done me, that I'm working through that spiritually. And I know that I'm just a blessing away, but as long as I got hatred in my heart, I can't expect God to do anything for me. Then I got a little, and some of your viewers or whatever, everybody has a little bit of prejudice, and don't tell me you don't. Whether, this guy's poor and you're well off, why do I have to hang, or black, white, whatever. And sometimes I go through those issues as well, my prejudicial issues, I think I may have told some people that my dad, black man, not African American or he was a black man. And he loved white people. He was one of them house niggas, if you don't mind me saying. And my mother was light, bright, and damn near white, but my father kissed the white man's butt. He was like Samuel L. Jackson in Django. But he was a great man. I traveled all around the world with that man. Eastern Airlines. He was a blue-collar person with Eastern, and man, I went. There's no place that I haven't been down in the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, Mexico, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm from do or die Bedford-Stuyvesant, and for me to come back, from Puerto Rico or St. Thomas or Antigua or damn it, Mexico City, Acapulco, Hawaii, all of those places, and come back to my neighborhood and try to tell people what I just saw, Diamond Head Mountain, where the Japs flew over to bomb Pearl Harbor. I actually was on the USS Arizona, which is like a memorial in Hawaii, and then of course my military travel. So I've lived a great life. I was raised by two fabulous parents. I kind of resent my father for some things, the way I was brought up. Love the white man. Tell him, a black man want to borrow something from you, tell him get it the same way you did. Work for it. but you're alone, you know. So those issues, all of those things surface, and then I call myself a God-loving person, you know. So I'm working through all of that. Maybe this is time out for me. This might be the Lord telling me time out, Ted, and sitting me in a corner to reflect and to, you know.
Two things we have to cover because people will ask. They will say, "Have you relapsed? Has this caused you to relapse?"
No, but I will say this: yes, yes, and no. That's a touchy situation. No, I didn't relapse to full. I tried fentanyl to get rid of my obsession of missing Kathy or grieving. My grieving led me to fentanyl, and I have to say it lasted about 7 months until I prayed to God, and 2 Suboxone strips ridded me of God's prayer, my prayer to God, and 2 Suboxone strips. Normally people take more than that. And I said, Lord, if you get me off of this. I was sick in the morning. They had to hit me 3 times with Narcan. My daughter did twice. And then one night I just blacked out and was in the middle of a highway right by my house and low crawled on my elbows back to my backyard where I was living. Not my backyard, their backyard. But so I did have a little bout with relapse. It didn't cost me no $375,000 or no $60,000 worth of it. I'd have been dead. I'd have been another Prince or another Michael Jackson or another many of the, you know, Kurt Cobain or any. I was wired out.
And we've talked about this before, and that kind of leads us into the next issue, mental health, which is important because so many people suffer with mental health issues. This is certainly not unique to you. People watching suffered with mental health, and
That's
we've
right.
talked over the years about even when you did have a home and things were going well, you contemplated suicide at points.
That's right.
So now,
I was in an 1,800 square foot condominium. I had 2 cars. This is since the 2011 situation. But then again, there's that lawyer who just set me up for the woo, you know, set me up to fail. And made mention, him and I had words before, and we almost went to blows. Personally speaking, again, I'd love to see him dead. I would have loved to, or wouldn't have cared if I was the reason that he would be. You know, I hope the nigga, I hope the man don't show up dead right now, and everybody say, I knew he was going to do it. I knew him, no, but those are the issues that my mental situations take me through to get them out and ask for forgiveness, and Lord, take that away from me. I don't want to feel this way. It wasn't meant for me to have. You know, it was karma, you know, more power to him. I pray for him, believe it or not. I pray for him and the other people. Not just him took me. He just took me for the larger portion of all this. And like I said, maybe God didn't want me to have all of that money. And who knows, I would have relapsed and been a statistic of an overdose, you know. But I didn't go back to no cocaine, no crack, or nothing like that. I just wanted to I had already had my experiences with cough syrup, codeine. Not the lean that these kids drink now, but it was Robitussin AC. But it has a very high codeine content. And I kind of embraced it as a way, you know, it was a terrible way to sit up and try to entertain people like this. Nodding or scratching the hell out of yourself. But so I kind of thought the fentanyl, you know, I didn't realize that everything, because that's how I got hooked to crack. Somebody came and said, oh man, it's an aphrodisiac, makes you horny, makes you this, makes you that. And I tried it. I was like, oh man, this, you know, how does a person try crack for the first time and get so throwed out, going to stores and stealing from their mother, lying and all of that. And damn if I didn't try it one time, and it wasn't long after that I became one of those addicts. So I know where crack would have led me, but let me tell you, that fentanyl is no joke. It's coming from wherever, Mexico, China, or whatever. And and the thing about it was, they were just little lines, you know, not even the finger width. They were like little tiny lines that I'd go like that, and I felt good. I didn't no longer think about Kathy, and no longer thought about my current situation, being broke and waiting for the Social Security to approve my claim and all of that. It just took me away, and I'd sit there and watch TV, you know, and that's how it was, you know. But my God, in the morning, oh, I'm doubled up. Got to run to the plate, and if there's nothing there, I'm ready to double up and everything. Then I tried it a couple times. The lines got bigger, and then all of a sudden, I'm like that. My daughter runs up to me, Dad, you all right? Here, and she administers Narcan. Wow. Okay, I'm back. Thank you, Jesus. You know.
Well, and because of all of this, losing Kathy, ending
Yeah.
up homeless again,
Yeah.
going through a relapse there,
Yeah.
have you thought of suicide at all? Has that
No,
crossed your
not
mind?
as of late.
Good,
Not as
good,
of late.
good.
I really want to go further into my broadcasting career, and I want to thank you, Scott Spears, for catapulting it, or should I say, keeping it alive. You know, I want to still work in the capacity of doing voiceover work. You know, the movie thing, I don't know how in the world I got hooked up with that, you know, but I'm not looking for Tyler Perry casting or anything, you know, 50 Cent or Diddy. No, I'm just teasing. I had to throw Diddy in there. But I love you, and I thank you so much for keeping me alive in our viewers' minds and prayers. And yes, no, I haven't thought of suicide, but there have been times that, that, like I explained to you one time before.
There are often homeless people asking for change at freeway exit ramps, but recently there's been this guy with an interesting sign at I-71 and Hudson Street. His handwritten sign says he has the God-given gift of a great voice.
Hey, I'm going to make you work for your dollar. Say something with that great radio voice.
When you're listening to nothing but the best of oldies, you're listening to Magic 98.9. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. And we'll be back with more right after these words. And don't forget, tomorrow morning is your chance to win a pair of tickets to see this man live in concert. Thank you so much. Well, when I was 14 years old, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. When I was 14, I kind of listened to one of our area radio announcers. And I went as a field trip to go meet the guy, and he looked nothing like what he sounded like. So I asked him about that, and he said to me, listen, radio is defined theater of mind. And so when he said theater of mind, I just said, well, hey, I can't be an actor, I can't be an on-air personality, but the voice just became something of a development over years, and I went to school for it. And then alcohol and drugs and a few other things became a part of my life. And I got 2 years clean, and I'm trying hard to get it back, and hopefully somebody from one of these television or radio say, hey, I need a voiceover, or I need something. So, you know, I'm hoping one day, watch Family Guy, weeknights at 7:30 on Fox 28. Anything, but that's what it is, and I love radio.
Now, Ted, here, one of the other important parts of this today is if somebody today gave you those opportunities you had back in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
a big company came along, like the Cavaliers or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
and said, Ted, here's a job. How would you handle it this time?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Cleveland Cavaliers, starting at guard. No, I'm just teasing. But I would handle Kraft macaroni and cheese. I still think of that. You know, and I still think about doing the opening credits for the Today Show, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza. I nailed it, you know.
You did.
They never.
You did.
And then I looked at Wendy Williams the other day. What happened? I was on the Wendy Williams show. You remember that? I was in the Wendy Williams
Yes.
show. And, you know, I knew, well, I don't want to throw Wendy out under the bus, but I just want to say I knew something was funny when our conversation went. I was there to promote a book. And next thing you know, we're trading stories about smoking crack. And you know, I'm like a whole hour of me talking about, and Wendy, ain't nothing like a good-ass blast. You know, things like that.
And Wendy has ended up in a horrible. I mean, she's in a conservatorship
I
right
love
now.
that. Wendy, I love you. If there's anything I could do for you, just make you laugh, tell you some good stories, Hollywood stories. Not no Hollywood parties, Hollywood stories. I got a few of them.
You know, when you look at this now, Ted, all the people who you are so closely associated with, Dr. Phil certainly would be one of those people. Dr. Oz at one point would certainly be one of those
Love 'em
people.
both. No,
Yeah.
maybe
well,
Phil.
But now that they might hear this or be aware that this has happened to you again, what would you say to those people or want those people to know?
Can you help me? I made some bad management choices, and it's natural. This is not a version of Unsung, where, you know, I'm here to complain or whatever. If you don't do nothing for me, I still love you. But I would like just a little lift of help. You know, I have to say one thing. When I during that period, my manager at the time, I'm not going to throw his name, Scott Anthony, but to make a long story short, he had mentioned to the he had mentioned to where am I going with this? I mean, I know where I'm going. I just don't want to mess up something. But he had mentioned to the production people of the Dave Chappelle show, right?
Right.
That I had fell off the wagon with the fentanyl.
Oh, who you mentioned?
And you know
this?
what?
What?
Dave told me, find a treatment center and I will pay for it. And I found a $50,000 a month treatment center, and he was willing to do it. But God seen fit that I didn't have to use that. That's Suboxone and prayer. Ted Williams don't even want to see fentanyl. And when I heard of my man Prince dying in an elevator in Paisley Park and all of that for a fentanyl overdose, I just shook my head. It could have been me.
It could, and we think about this now, and I
But
don't.
yeah, I'll handle any job offers.
Anything that comes, you will take.
Yeah, I'll sweep this damn floor right now.
Well, and I want to make a point of saying this, not to get into your current management, but you've brought it up there,
Okay.
because we've done interviews in the past in
Yeah.
which sometimes management will come after and say things that.
Yeah.
What would you say about that? Everything you're saying here is on the level.
Yeah, everything's right here on the level, and you're the first to get this. I have to say that we was going to make a reality show, what the process is of going into shelter and how my spirits are, and me eating. The only thing is we couldn't bring cameras into those places, but I was going to make it out. But I wanted you to have the first dibs, whether you sent it to UPI, API, or whatever. You know, I wanted you, Scott, because you were with me from day one.
And I appreciate that, but
You know, so you're getting the first dibs on this, and I don't care who says anything. You know, and Scott's not going to say nothing because he knows that I have a loyalty to you.
well, and I appreciate that, Ted, and I appreciate
Now go
you
give me
coming-
something to eat.
And I appreciate you coming here with this information, because I think it's interesting that people know this, because people do believe that you've got money. They Google you,
Oh, yeah.
and they say Ted's got money. Ted's
Yeah, you
doing
see,
fine.
what is Ted's net worth?
Yes.
1 million on Google, 500,000, 50,000. I've got so many different levels of, and then when you tell them I'm in this situation now, oh, did you smoke up that much damn dope? Are you still using? Oh, you didn't shave today. You look bad. Right now, the golden voice, the first thing from my mind. I know that I have a God-given gift. Rated R, under 17, not admitted. Not very many people can do that. And not many people sound good doing it. I love you, Scott, and God is not through with any of us yet. Not just me, but any of us yet. And I promise God that if I got off that crap is what I was going to say. But if I got off that fentanyl, I would never. And believe me, I've been around a few little areas, gray areas since then. Hey man, I got some dog food. I got some Chinese food, and I know what they're referencing. Hell no, man, get away from me. As a matter of fact, I'll get away from you, and that's the way I play it. You know.
What are your days like now?
What are my days like? Okay, constantly asking the staff, did y'all find a place yet? Eating breakfast, talking to the vets, listening to their lies and their truths or whatever, you know. Every vet, you know, I'm meeting a lot of people in the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps people are a special breed of soldiers, you know. Hoo-yah! All that shit scare you half to death and all. And then I think of a few good men with, what's your boy's name? Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson,
And
Tom Cruise. Oh yeah,
and
good
Demi.
movie. Demi.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could have anything right now, if because the first time people did see your story as a miracle. They saw this man who was on a street corner with a sign, homeless.
What they saw is a mother's prayer. That's what they saw. A mother's prayer. My mother surely couldn't have asked for, Lord, get that boy a viral video, or let him get some notoriety, or let people think that, you know, I'm a proud mother now. She didn't pray for that. She only prayed for me to do the right thing. And standing on that corner kept me from going to stores and stealing cordless DeWalt drills, just high theft items to support my drug habit, and me and my woman a place to lay our head, like hotel rooms or whatever, and buy me an 8-ball. Anybody listening? I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. The man with a golden voice is keeping it real for you and all of the fine viewers on the Scott Spears Show.
We got to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back with the second half of the program and talk about the future and hope. But you heard it here first, an exclusive. An exclusive, my friend, the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, who we've done a lot over the years, running for governor, running for president, and interviews galore, has announced here first that 13 years after coming out of homelessness, he is once again homeless again. But hope remains, and we're going to talk about hope after this short but important break. Back after this. Hey, Scott Spears back here with the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, an exclusive here on Scott Spears Now. Ted has just announced earlier in the program that 13 years after being the miracle for so many people, in which he was found on the corner with a sign by the Columbus Dispatch, Dorothy Chenoweth, taken from homelessness to a great life, that he is once again in 2024 homeless at this current time, but hope reigns out. Ted, what is the hope right now?
The hope is that I could address my current mental health situation, my living arrangements. I'm ready for the responsibilities of lights and paying rent and buying food. I want to get back into the swing of things, that would help my mental health situation, and that I'm not begging nobody for nothing, and I don't want to feel deprived neither. I want to get out of that this is karma shit that I keep trying to do for all of my see, God ain't through with me, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to get some normalcy. That's what I'm looking for.
That's where we are at this point. And
not to be normal. Just have some normalcy.
We talked about faith earlier, and faith is a big part of this, and you talked about doubting your faith because of this. How do you keep it that God isn't through with you, as you just said? Most people have a hard time getting to faith, period. But you're going through some very difficult moments, and yet it's still there.
And my faith still remains, and faith, as you know, is evidence of things not seen. I keep the faith, Scotty. That's the way I was raised, I don't want to give up, throw the shoe in, and make things any worse than they are. I keep the faith because that's what my mother would do. And see, that's what I learned, is that when you keep the faith and speak to God like He's there to help you or to see you through things, that my mother, that my faith led me to believe that there has to be something more than me sacrificing going in the stores and stealing, stop smoking crack and all of that. There has to be something else. And it was my mother's faith. So I keep her faith. And I pray for you. I pray for everybody in this room here. I pray for my children. But see, I was having trouble praying for everybody else's well-being and wasn't praying for nothing for me.
Do you ever say, God, why me? Why is this happening again?
I said that on the way here.
You said, why? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Like, why me? What's the answer? It has yet to be revealed. I was like, damn, Lord, why did I put those people in my life to deprive me of it? Why did I pick this man? Why? Because he was white? No. Because he was a evil white man? No. I just picked him because I trusted my judgment. It wasn't through faith that I picked him, because I don't think I would have picked him. So I'm learning.
When we look at this situation, I want to talk about your mother. You talked about your mother there, and one of the videos that lives on the internet forever.
Mommy.
Yes. When you reunited with your mother after so many years, and
somebody made fun of that the other day.
Well,
they was like, "Damn, you a grown ass man. You sitting up there saying, mommy, mommy." That's how I felt. I as childish as it may have seemed or appeared, I hadn't seen my mother in 16 years. It wasn't because she was dead. She was still alive. I had many, many opportunities to see her because I had a lot of money that I wasted on drugs. and some of the things that I stole, that I fenced and made money off of. I could have seen my mother. But for the Today Show to afford me a trip to New York, and I embraced my mother, man, if my father would have been there, it'd have been Mommy, Daddy, Mom. You know, they raised me.
Well, and it's interesting because your mother wanted you to do well. She
Yeah.
wanted you to come off of the street. She wanted you to be okay. And that was a great moment for her to see you
Yes.
doing these things.
Yes, yes.
And your mother lived a great long life.
96. she
96 years old, just died within the last few years.
Yes.
What great. And we all want our parents to be here, certainly. But in a way, is it better for you that she's not here to know what's going on now? Do you
Oh,
think?
yeah. There's no way in the world I could have convinced my mother that I didn't relapse and spend all that day. There's no way in the world that white man could have said to her, I gave him that $375,000. What he did with it, you know, and Brett would have been that lawyer would have been that kind of, to try to convince my mother. He had access to all that money. I didn't have nothing. But what I will say is this, man, it'd be terrible. What was I getting ready to say? Something about, because you touched on it just a minute. She wanted me to do well. These were, if you ever look at an interview with my mom, the interviewer said something about, well, did you expect any of this? And my mother said no. She said, I had prayed incessantly for him to do well. But it got to a point in my life that I didn't think God heard my prayers. I thought, it wasn't meant for me to have that. You know, my mother lived she lived long enough to see that turnaround. You know, I just wish I was a better son. The Bible says, honor your mother and father, or your days will be shortened. And I didn't do that.
When we think about, and not to spend...
I'm not preaching anybody.
No, but it's a story that needs to be heard because it's very important. When you were homeless, prior to this, somebody you obviously were very close with was Kathy.
Yeah.
And we all knew Kathy here at the station. She
Yeah.
was around many times with you, and anybody who ever saw you,
miss her.
she was right by your side. And we can see it in your emotion when you
Yeah.
talk about her.
Yeah.
That she's not here this time when,
I know what I was going to say
go
about
ahead,
that
go ahead.
Listen, when my mom heard that I was going with Kathy, because see, my kids, he's going with a white woman. She's a hoe. Yep, she sells her body. Yep. Now, my mother heard all this. So my mother's thoughts of Kathy at first
we're bad.
were bad. You know, what's my son living with a prostitute? Why is he smoking crack with her in a hotel room? Why did he do, all those things. A white woman at that. Well, before my mother died, when I was in New York, Kathy just thought there was no way in hell she would ever have my mother's favor. When my mother was in New York and I had my camera on, I said, say hi to Kathy, Mommy. And my mother actually looked in the camera, my phone, and said, hi, Kathy, I love you. That meant the world to Kathy in the world. I couldn't have prompted my mom. I couldn't have paid her no money to say that to Kathy. And y'all getting ready to see some tears, but my mother said that to Kathy. Yeah, she said,
good moment.
I love you. Yeah.
A good moment. And those happen.
And both of them died. Kathy passed away knowing that my mother said that to her, and she saw the video and she treasured it, and vice versa. My mother, said something that I thought I would never hear. All I said was say hi to Kathy. She didn't have to say, Kathy, I love you. Yeah.
Do you feel them both with you now in this trying time in your life?
Sometimes I do. Not my mom as much as, I don't know. I speak to both of them. You can call that a mental health moment or what, but I talk to both of them.
What do you say to them?
When I lived at the other place, Kathy had a unicorn that her sister gave, a little stuffed animal. And we said that was our baby because Kathy and I didn't have any children. And she named the unicorn Utica. And I would always say, Kathy's ashes are in an urn that the chief of police in Inkster, Michigan, gave me, a $500 urn. Well, anyway, Kathy's in there, and I would say, hi, Judy. No, I'd wake up, I'd say, Judy Patootie. And then I say, you say hi to Mama. And that was my dialogue. Or like when I would wipe Judy up or something, I say, Mama said to wipe you down. And I washed the little unicorn up and everything. Then she got another thing, but I don't talk to him. But she named a male animal, Saucy. So it was Utica and Saucy. Those were our children. So now that I don't have a place to live, Utica's misplaced and all of them. But now what I say is, good morning, Kathy. And then I ask God to kiss her in the only way that he knows how. The spiritual realm, because I'm thinking to myself, sometimes when I think about people dying or myself dying or whatever, I think that once you clock out of here, and not that big white light or anything that you would see, I think when you're laying there, that God is in you, like the energy that you once possessed goes to God and it comes back to you, and you can hear God talk to you, not open your eyes and be like, hey, Lord, I don't believe in purgatory, I believe in heaven, and you're going to be disciplined at some point with hell. But I think that when I'm dead and I can't hear nobody else's voice, I believe that I could hear God. And so I say, God, please kiss her in the only way you know how. And then occasionally Kathy will come into my heart. She'll come into my heart. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. No. She wouldn't have liked to have seen me relapse on that Fetty. Oh, that would have killed her. That would have killed her immensely. Because she was dealing with so many health challenges that she just couldn't see how I would allow myself to go to a dope dealer and say, let me get a 20 of that dog food. And then take a plate and put it on the plate and take a razor blade and start making little lines and then and nod out.
Ted, what lesson has this taught you? I mean, we look at the last more than decade now. We look from 2011 to 2024, from homelessness to so many events. Opening the Today Show, Dr. Phil.
I'm not going to. I want you to finish that thought, but
what's the lesson to it all? Basically, is what it is.
I'm not going to make no more ill choices. I'm not trusting nobody with my money or nothing. I don't care how much they're. Doral Chenoweth, bless his heart. He just helped me get my bank account straight. He helped me with the Social Security. And that's the man that shot this initial video that went viral. I love him to death, but I don't trust him. I'm not going to. I'm not going to trust nobody. I might trust you.
Well, I'm glad. Doral Chenoweth was the man who shot the video that went on the Columbus Dispatch website, that went worldwide, that put you everywhere, Jimmy Fallon, so on and so forth. What is going to be the saving grace this time? It was that video with that man then. What's going to do it this time?
I'm going to value my life and live every day to its fullest. I'm going to give God the praise. I'm not turning into no born-again Christian. I'm going to take the Christianity that I have in my heart already and just, because when I say God's not through with me yet, I still have issues, whether they be mental health or cursing, smoking cigarettes. I smoke, so there's some issues that I still have that I have to repent, or ask God for forgiveness or ask him to help me with. So I say that to say this. I'm going to live every day to the fullest. I'm going to value my life. I don't value nothing. You could give me something right now, Scott, that meant the world to you, and I wouldn't value it enough to put it in a certain place. I'd lay it down, and if it got stolen, it got stolen. If it got lost, it got lost. I didn't value nothing. I didn't value all the things my parents gave me. I would give it to my friends. I wanted G.I. Joes. My mother bought me a collection of G.I. Joes. I shared them with my friends who had 14 kids in the family, and only, three of the kids would get Christmases. I shared my toys. I didn't value the fact that my mother had to work hard to get them damn $11 dolls.
We've talked a lot about faith in this interview, and we've talked about heaven and hell. Is this being homeless again and being in the veteran shelter, is this hell?
This hell?
Is this hell?
Let's just say I'm revisiting. Like, damn, again?
Did you ever think this
I don't
would
want to say hell, because there are opportunities that I can take advantage of. Some of the free rides, that the Veterans Administration has allowed for veterans. Like I said, they're going to pay my rent, my first month's rent, my deposit, and my application fees. You know, put me in a nice place eventually. But that's what you talk about. What do you do daily? I sit up and worry about when the fuck am I going to get out of here? When are they going? You know.
Did you ever dream?
Yeah, it could be hell at times.
Did you ever dream in your wildest dreams
No.
that you'd be here in 2024?
To living?
No. To be in this situation.
Hell no. Although I didn't prepare for it, and that's what it was. I didn't prepare for it. I knew I wasn't on that man's lease. You know, I should have never gave up. Well, that's what that Brett Adams did. You know, it was his places that I was living at that he was a part of. But I should have prepared a little more for this time.
You talked about karma and things of that nature. Is this karma for something, do you believe?
I think I've been already through the karma process. Right now, this is just poor choices and trust. That's it. Trusting people to do what they say, being a man of their word or a woman of their word, and just trusting the process.
You know, you're so honest about everything, and anybody listening to this interview will say that. What don't we know about Ted Williams currently? We know...
I'm addicted to Pornhub. No, I'm just kidding.
What don't we know? Well, there's got to be... What is?
Excuse me, I had to get an after laugh.
We have to have some levity
Yeah,
here
you
somewhere.
gotta
This
have
is very
some
heavy.
fun, yeah.
It's very heavy.
They had to lighten the load. Yeah.
Is there anything we don't know?
I hurt sometimes, and I don't say it, or I don't put on this bravado, or I can go through anything. I hurt, and I just ask that people just say, hey, in the bottom of their acknowledgement to God, Lord, watch over Ted and his situation. He's standing in the need of prayer, and so am I, Lord.
What's your greatest?
He without sin, let him cast the first stone.
What's your greatest fear at this point in your life?
That they're going to take longer. Well, they're trying me. See, because I'm ready to go AWOL and not come back to the shelter and just ask somebody, can I crib with them and rent their room? And then I wouldn't have no lease. I wouldn't have, I'd be back square one because they'll get evicted and then I'll stand the chance. So just the process. I hate it and because I just don't like it. Curfew, I got to go.
How did you end up at the Veterans Shelter? We know why you're there. We know the lease
My
issue.
manager, Scott Anthony, was going through trying to find apartments and all. I already knew that the VA did pay, first month's rent and deposits and all of that. If you found if you got like a lease agreement and you got an income and you can show that, you can get it through the Service Commission. I didn't know you had to go through a shelter process to prove that you're homeless because, like if I go AWOL tonight, let's hypothetically say, well, you might as well stay there because you can't, you're not proving to us that you're homeless. You got a place to stay, So that curfew thing, that's what makes me nauseous because I've been invited to go certain places, but places start at 10 o'clock. I got to be in the house, and then you're looking through, you can't go out. I can't take you to dinner because you what? You got a curfew. Where you at? Are you in jail? Are you on probation, parole?
So this decision was made basically because of the hope of housing in a future.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But there wasn't a whole lot of alternatives.
No.
So.
Well, yeah, I could. My other alternative is to take my monthly income and just pay for a hotel room and stay in a hotel room. But then I'm running the risk of, being in an environment because most people that are transient and they stay in hotels, whores, hookers, or whatever you call them, dope fiends, and everything. They see the man with the golden voice going in and out of a hotel room. They think I got a chick in there butt naked with a crack pipe in her hand, because of my past. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been able to totally shake your past in this 13 years?
No, because everybody, I've actually been in the presence of people that said they got high with me, and they didn't. I didn't get high with nobody but Kathy. It wasn't no party where I'd go over your house and say, "Come on, Scott," or divide my dope with you. I stayed by myself or my woman and my porn. No, I just kidding. But that's it, man. You got an exclusive. The first time I'm admitting everything like it is.
Well, I appreciate that. As I said, what is the biggest misconception about you? Because
That I'm still using.
yeah, and people will say that you are in the situation you're in because you're using.
Yeah.
Or for
Nobody has no understanding of living in Ted Williams' shoes. I am the man with the God-given gift of voice. That's what my sign said. I'm an ex-radio announcer who has fallen on hard times. Please, any donations will be greatly appreciated. Thank you and God bless. But the key word there, I have a God-given gift of voice. And nothing can take that away. Not my spirit or nothing.
In this current situation, have you thought about doing that again?
What?
Going with the sign?
Yeah, I thought of it. Yeah, just as a joke.
As a joke.
You know, I wanted to go on a highway corner because I see people from time to time. I give them help or whatever I can do, but I just wanted to see the demeanor of people driving up to there and say, "Holy shit, is that dude? Holy, you know, give me $20."
Not to get into the personal income that you have, but where does your income come from at this point?
Social Security.
So you
Social
receive
Security, retirement, not disability, not social supplemental incomes, not for being mentally ill or nothing. Social Security, retirement.
And is it a fair amount that you could live on every month?
Yeah.
Good. We've talked about mental health, and I want to come back to this because I know we're running out of time here.
Yeah,
what is your current mental health state? What would you tell the people? What have you been diagnosed with? What do you
Off
deal
and
with?
on. Off and on. I don't take medications, no Seroquel or many of the other, mood substances or anything like that. I'm not medicated, Ritalin or anything. I suffer from probably ADHD. Okay, if there was anything to be said about my mental health currently, I have no patience. From time to time, I just want everything to be done now. Or my attention span. If somebody's really telling me something that I need to hear, it'll go in one ear and out the other. So I do need not a sedative, but I need something that Zoloft or something that would make me sit still.
We've talked about regrets in this interview and things you would do different. What is your biggest regret?
I think I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times, Scotty. Trust. Trusting people and not making the right choices and just picking somebody that could guide my not necessarily finances, because I ain't trusting nobody with nothing of mine no more. Anything I sign is signed Ted Williams, not Ted LLC, Golden Voice Media, none of that shit. It's Ted Williams. Give me my money.
Why do you think people took advantage of you?
Because I wasn't concentrating on my life like I should have been. I concentrated on Kathy, and that was my diversion from putting full attention on the way people were managing me.
Go
ahead.
What would be? You said you would like to do the Today Show open again. If somebody saw this, you never know. We live in the viral world. You were the first viral video.
Yeah.
You created that whole genre
I'm the first.
13 years ago. The man who created the first viral video, in a video that people might see, that's the world you created. If you could do the Today Show opening again, what would that mean to you in 2024,
Man,
different
that
than
would lift my
2011?
spirits. Doing this stuff for Dave Chappelle has lifted my spirits.
Good.
I love Dave Chappelle, Robin Williams, Bernie Mac. These are Richard Pryor. These are people that I adored, man. And not that I learned anything from them, but I just know that their comedic timing and what they say is of interest and funny.
What do you make of the world we live in today? Do you think people are caring? Do you think we're closer to heaven or closer to hell?
Closer to hell. Yeah,
We're headed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, man. This. I don't want to say what Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. Put that in the mix. But I am going to say we need to just stop being prejudiced, or set aside your prejudicial issues and not let them consume all of your choices and all of your conversation and all of that. If you prejudice, keep it like it's supposed to be. On the down low. You know.
I've got to ask you this because this is how long we've been doing interviews. Back in 2015, when Donald Trump first announced he was running for president, you did announce you were running for president. It got derailed a little way in, but
Yeah.
during that interview that we did, way back when, now 9 years ago, you talked about getting in because of some of the things Trump was saying and doing at that time. He goes on, he becomes president. Now he's on trial, but he's running for president again. It's going to be Biden versus Trump. As a former presidential candidate, as somebody who does pay attention to these things,
Yes, I do.
who do you want to win in 2024? We're in the presidential year.
You
Biden
know,
or Trump?
I never thought I'd say it. Trump.
You're Trump now.
Yeah, only because Biden is kind of slipping, man. He's giving too much of our money away. You know, he's not really concerned. He's just look the college people don't have to pay back loans. He's doing all this here for in the war, supporting one over the other. Just giving money away frivolously. And Trump, I'm not going to say he's super better, but the things I heard about Biden is just all that the Chinese got him in their pockets. And,
Do you think Trump will end up in prison? He's on trial right now.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you'd asked me this question about a month or so ago, I'd have said yes, and I would have said, that's what he get. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a real Trump supporter, though. But I will say this: in 2011, that man came on the Dave and Jimmy show, WNCI, and actually was on the air and said that he would provide me and my girlfriend a 1 year's lease at Trump Tower.
And
Yeah,
why didn't that happen?
Me picking motherfuckers representing me. No, you don't need that, man. Trump gonna put you out after you have about 3 or 4 visitors.
That's what these people said.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers job. We touched on that earlier, and in the remaining moments, here,
$145,000.
people still stay to this day. Why didn't Ted take that job?
Just I wasn't clean and sober to make $150,000 a year. I'd have been up in Cleveland. And now here's your lineup for tonight's game. LeBron James.
So you were in
$140,000 a year, and I didn't even have 5 days clean.
Now your family.
Now if they'd have sent me to Dr. Phil and all that, I don't know.
A lot of people will ask. You've mentioned your family, your kids. Why not live with one of them at this time?
Hell no. Well, my mother's dead.
No, I'm your kids.
Oh, my kids?
Yeah, your kids.
I'd be a babysitter. Oh, put that down. Come here, time out. I'd have been,
It just wouldn't be a good situation.
Leave the babies with Teddy.
Yeah.
Or Daddy.
I want to clear this up. On your Wikipedia page, I looked at this recently. It was Wikipedia page. I looked at this recently, and it says that you're married to some lady named Carol.
Yeah, I know.
What is that?
I have no idea.
Not true.
No.
Somebody needs to update that.
Yeah.
You are an unmarried man.
I'm an unmarried, and I'm looking for a wife.
Is
Pretty feet, no.
Is there anybody in your life?
No. I was invited to a couple little outings, but I wasn't sure myself, and I had no place to take them. To to take them to wine and dine. I got the clothes. I can really dress up or clean up good.
What possessions do you have in the shelter you're in? What have you kept?
I got a lot of stuff in Dave's car. What have I kept? The clothes I got on my back, my wallet, and my bank card, and a change of clothes.
Ted,
My hygiene items.
I've been through a lot of this with you, and a lot of it's been very good, and some of it not so good. What keeps you going from day to day? What keeps you going? What is the happiness in your life in our final 2 minutes?
What
keeps you going?
With the hope that I just can't be like this very much longer. Otherwise, I will check out, not by way of probably just as a broken heart, for Kathy, or not being in a meaningful relationship. My mom and everybody passing on me, and me not having a person in the world. Now, mind you, I have 17 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and 9 kids, 7 girls and 2 boys. But I just feel like I don't have nobody.
You're not going anywhere anytime soon, but how would you like people to remember you?
As a very straightforward, fun-loving guy. You know, very humble and very mannerable and very, you know, just fun. Says what's on his mind. Sometimes says what he says instead of thinks. He speaks before he thinks.
Ted, I hope everything goes well. I thank you for this exclusive in the 60 seconds we have left. We've done many interviews there on YouTube and on the web page and radio and news stories. You've always been good to me. I'm sorry to hear what's going on with you right now, but I wish you the best and I hope for the best for your future. And I know our relationship.
Well, I can't look forward to any more interviews now.
No, you'll be always welcome back
Yeah, I'm
here.
going to give you updates.
Absolutely.
I will. I'll call in and speak to you and let you record them and let everybody know what's happening, whether I did get finally placed. Now, mark today on your calendar. What's today? The 28th?
28th.
All right. I'm going to give you an update probably next Friday.
Next Friday. All right.
Every week, I'm going to give you an update to let you know whether I'm in my own place. And then, when I do get in my place, you bring camera and crew.
And we'll place, we'll come and talk about everything in the future. So I want to say that one more time real quick. You're going to give us updates from now on, starting next Friday, and
Yeah.
you'll give us the first interview when you get in your home.
That's right.
We'll have a housewarming party.
That's right.
With Ted Williams, the man with the golden voice.
I'll get Twinkies, a Butterfinger, and some pop.
And we'll all be good. Well, it's been a serious interview. It's been a serious episode, an exclusive here on Scott Spears Now. Ted Williams, currently homeless again, but the future hopefully looking bright.
I love
Ted, thank you, my
You
man.
just keep me in your prayers.
I certainly will.
John, keep me in your prayers. And Matt, you too.
The man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, Scott Spears, heading for the dugout.